Psych secrets men don't tell anyone, but every woman should know. Here's the truth, ladies. Men may act like they've got it all figured out in the bedroom, but behind closed doors, there are secrets they'll never say out loud. And these aren't the shallow cliches you've heard 1,000 times. These are the hidden truths that reveal how men really think, feel, and connect through intimacy. If you've ever wondered why he reacts the way he does, or what actually fuels his desire for you, stay tuned. Because once you understand these secrets, the way you see your man and the way he responds to you will never be the same. 1. He wants to please you more than you know. One of the biggest sex secrets men rarely admit is just how much of their satisfaction comes from yours. For many men, the deepest joy in intimacy isn't just their own release. It's the pride and fulfillment of knowing they've brought their woman to a place of pleasure she can't fake. He may not always tell you outright, but believe this, he feels the weight of that responsibility, and sometimes it's a silent pressure he carries on his shoulders. Every moan, every shiver, every moment you lose yourself with him is his proof that he's enough, that he's doing it right, and that he matters to you in that space. Nothing feeds his masculine confidence more than seeing you enjoy yourself, not out of performance, but because you've truly let go with him. And here's where it gets real. When you hide your needs, when you stay silent about what feels good, you rob him of the very thing that drives him to keep giving. But when you guide him gently, show him what you like, and let him see your genuine pleasure, it does more than stroke his ego, it bonds him to you. Making intimacy a shared victory rather than a one-sided act. To a man who loves you, your satisfaction is not optional, it's the heartbeat of his own. 2. He notices the little things you do in bed. Here's something most women don't realize. Men pay attention in the bedroom, often more than they ever let on. That soft moan, the way your body arches, the way you breathe when you're turned on. He notices everything. He might not comment on it, but he registers those moments like a quiet language between you. To him, your reactions are his feedback, his reassurance, his proof that you're not just there physically, but emotionally and erotically present with him. He might seem confident and composed, but in those intimate moments, your body's honesty means more than any words could. When you let go, when you stop overthinking how you look, how you sound, or what he might think, you actually give him what he desires most: authenticity. Because that's what drives him wild, seeing you lose yourself in the experience. The truth is, a man may act tough out in the world, but in bed, he's deeply tuned in to the smallest signals of your pleasure. He remembers them, replays them, and even uses them to please you better the next time. So never underestimate the power of your subtle responses. They don't just turn him on, they tell him he's connecting with you on a level deeper than words. 3. He sometimes hides his insecurities in bed. Let's be honest, men often wear confidence like armor, especially in the bedroom. But underneath that bravado, there's usually a quiet voice asking, "Am I enough for her?" He might look composed, even dominant, but deep down, many men carry insecurities they'll never admit. Not because they don't trust you, but because pride and ego are fragile when it comes to performance and desire. He wonders if he's satisfying you, if you still find him attractive, if what he's doing actually pleases you, or if you're just being polite. The truth is, men crave validation in intimacy just as much as women do, but they rarely feel safe enough to ask for it. That's why your energy, your responsiveness, your words, and even your body language matter more than you realize. When you moan genuinely, when you look at him with hunger, when you whisper that you love what he's doing, it tells him he's enough, he's wanted, he's desired. Those little affirmations do more for his confidence than any performance could. Because when a man feels admired in bed, he opens up emotionally. He relaxes, he becomes more giving, more attentive, more connected. So never underestimate the power of reassurance. It's not about stroking his ego. It's about nurturing his vulnerability. And that's where real intimacy begins. 4. He craves your initiation more than you realize. Here's a truth most women underestimate. Men love being desired just as much as we do. They might not always say it, but deep down, every man wants to feel like you can't resist him, that you want him, not just when he makes the first move, but because you're drawn to him. Too often, intimacy becomes one-sided, where he's always the pursuer and you're the one being pursued. But when a woman flips that energy, when she takes the lead, leans in first, or surprises him with her own hunger, it hits him on a completely different level. It tells him, "You're not just my partner, you're my fantasy." And that does something powerful to his confidence, his masculinity, and the way he sees you. When you initiate, whether it's a lingering kiss, a bold touch, or even just whispering what you want, it breaks routine, it reignites passion, and it reminds him that desire flows both ways. For a man, that moment of being wanted without asking is electric. It makes him feel chosen, not obligated, and that changes everything. Because when you show him you crave him too, you're not just turning him on. You're deepening the emotional and erotic bond that keeps the relationship alive. This doesn't mean you have to become the one who initiates all the time, but sprinkling in those moments of intentional pursuit does something profound. It reassures him that he's still the man who excites you, who turns you on, who you crave. Bottom line. So here's the bottom line. Sex for men is never just about the physical. It's about reassurance, connection, and the deep need to feel wanted by the woman they love. The little things you do, your touch, your words, your initiation, matter more to him than you may ever realize. When you understand that, intimacy stops being routine and starts becoming a bond that grows richer with time. Remember, ladies, the strongest relationships aren't built on guessing games. They're built on awareness, vulnerability, and a willingness to meet each other where it counts the most. If this opened your eyes, make sure you share it with another woman who deserves to know these truths too.